I'll just show you what's inside. We have templates that I've just printed on construction paper. I'm going to cut that out. I have number 20 floral wire over here that we're going to use for a leaf, so I'm just setting that aside. And all these crepe paper strips. And what I like to do before I make flowers is always just to get everything organized so it's easier for me. So I'll just set aside all the green crepe because we only use that for the leaves and for the stalk. The yellow crepe for the petals, I'll just put that aside. And we have the black and brown strips that are reserved for the center of the sunflower. And that's just an easy way to get organized. Alright, so first things first, I'm going to cut out my templates. And you know, sometimes I just like to have a tray, any kind of tray really, to catch all the scraps that will fall out. Alright, I'm just going to cut this. Now when you're cutting the templates, it's totally okay if you're not super accurate or super neat. The templates are more as a guide anyway. And what I've done is, I'm not sure if you can see, but for the templates I've drawn a little line, and that's just the direction of the green. And what the green is the lines or creases that are on your crepe. So you always want to make sure that the line that's on a template is aligned with the grain or the creases on your crepe, and you shouldn't be able to go wrong with that. Okay, so leaves, I'm just going to set this aside. I'm going to start with my petals, alright? And it's very easy. What we're going to do first is we're going to place our template right at the side or at the end of our long yellow crepe paper strip. And then we're going to accordion fold it. And basically, accordion fold is just kind of folding it back to back to have this, right? And then we're going to cut it out. The reason why we do an accordion fold is so that we can cut more petals at once, you know, instead of cutting them one by one, which is just really going to take you a lot of time. Let's see, and that's just easy. There, you have 5 petals. Okay, so again, I'll just set those aside, and I'm just gonna do the same thing for all my other strips. Okay, ideally you should get 5 petals from one block of yellow. So just try not to you know, fold too white, otherwise we'll be wasting a lot of crepe paper, and you know, we don't really want to do that. Okay, so just to check all of them are good. Right, I'm gonna do that. Because we're cutting so many at once, it's really important that your scissors is really sharp, otherwise you might have a hard time. And sometimes, you know, this happens. Don't worry about it, just go back, trim it, you know. The petals don't really have to be perfect. Life isn't perfect. So a little bit about the paper. I'm using Carta Tecnica Rossi Italian 180 GSM crepe paper. I love it because it's so strong and durable, and I've just been working with it for over 2 years now, so I don't really feel like changing it. If you have other types of crepe, you know, feel free to try it with them. You know, I always find that it's really interesting to see how the same techniques produce different looks for different flowers when you use different types of crepe. So I think it'll be a pretty interesting experiment if you, let's say, want to try this with German crepe, doublet crepe, or you know, even crepe that maybe is China made or you bought from Taobao. Okay, so that's done. That's great. I'm going to set this aside here, and this is the fun part because we are going to start sculpting our petals, and it's really easy. All you have to do is aim for the middle of your petal and just give it a good stretch. Alright, maybe stretch a little bit at the bottom. Alright, maybe give it a little fold like that, and that's kind of it. So just keep doing that to all 25 of your petals. Yes, you should have a total of 25 because I've given you 5 strips of large, yellow rectangles, and each strip should give you 5 petals, so you should have 25. Now let's say you made a mistake, you cut wrongly, and you have less than 25. Don't panic, it's no big deal. No one's gonna count the petals on your flower. We will figure it out as we go. And 25 is actually kind of a lot already for a flower, a single flower. So if you even have, let's say, 20, it should be totally fine. Okay. Look how fast I can do this. Oh, so I didn't get technical. I should get technical. Alright, so this term, this stretching that we're doing, can't remember if I mentioned earlier, but the technique is called cupping. And basically we are just making concave shapes out of our petals, kind of like a cup or bowl. So I guess I can't call it bowling, so cupping is, I guess, the more appropriate term for it. Look at that. Look at how much I can stretch it. It's amazing, right? So if you happen to be using, thinner crepe, like maybe 60 GSM or 100 GSM, and you find that you really can't stretch it as wide as what I'm doing now, that's fine. I mean, some sunflowers have flatter petals. Some of them have more curved ones. It would just look a little different, but I'm pretty sure it would still look pretty because it's your creation. I feel weird talking to a camera while my face is not in it. Alright, so petals are all done. We're going to start working on our center. By this time, just make sure that your hot glue gun is warm and ready to go because we're going to do some gluing. And what I'm going to do is going to start with the black strips. Okay, again, very fun. What I like to do is to place my black strip on a flat, smooth surface. And that's just so I can stretch it really easily, just like that. So I stretch it out. Alright, and I'll just stretch all of them out at once, because it's fun. Alright, so you want to stretch it out this way, and then after that you want to stretch it out along, not stretch, sorry, you want to fold it this way. So you're just going to make it into a shorter strip. Alright, so you get this. Alright, and this is the folded edge. And what I want to do is, I like to fold it in half. Alright, let me move this aside so you can see. Fold it in half and then fold it into a quarter. Alright, don't have to be too neat about it. What we're going to do is we're going to fringe this. And fringing just means we're going to cut strips just like so. But you notice I don't really go all the way down. I just cut really short strips. Let's see if I can get this to focus. I don't think so. Anyway, it's just really short strips. Probably just a few milliliters. Sorry, just a few milliliters. I don't know why I said that, right? Just a few mm. And of course, after I unfold it, I'll just go back and check in case I missed out any spots. If you attended any of my other workshops, especially peonies, it's the exact same thing that we do for the stamens, except of course we are first folding this into half, alright, to get that nice folded tip for our fringe. Okay, just like that. And again, fold in half, fold in a quarter, kind of squeeze it a little bit so that's easier for you. And then just really swiftly cut maybe about 0.5 cm or less, right, along that way. So again, alright, not sure if you can see, but it's really short. You can see like this part, this end, it's a bit too thick. I'll just trim that one more time. And that should be good. Okay. So we're just doing that for all the black and all the brown strips. I like to fold into a quarter because, to tell you the truth, I'm not a super patient person. So if I can be more efficient, I will. But I do understand it's really thick, maybe. So if you're a beginner and you're a little nervous about cutting such a thick pile of crepe, feel free to just, you know, cut it as one strip without folding it into a quarter, or just fold it into half, you know, and just slowly progress and do it, you know, at your own speed. You know, don't have to worry about it. Alright, great, fun part. Now we're gonna get to gluing. Okay. I already have, if you've bought the kit, these thick wrapped number 18 floral wire, and I've already kind of wrapped the little tip for you in black. So remember, this is where your bloom goes, not this end, okay? So of course we're going to start with the 3 black folded strips that we have, and super easy. It's just a wrapping game. Alright, glue here, and you're going to go round and round on the wire. And for height, you just want the black strip to be on the same height as the tip of your wire. You don't really want that wire to be protruding out. It'll look weird, and you don't really want it to be sunken too, because it won't give that illusion of a nice flat flower center. Alright. I don't apply the hot glue in one long strip. You know, I kind of glue it in sections. That's just because understandably the hot glue dries very, very quickly. So if I were to kind of apply a really long line of glue, by the time I start actually twisting my wire, the glue is going to dry up, and you know, I have to glue it all over again. So I'm just gluing it in little sections. Okay, and just going round and round. Ta-da! That's kind of all you need to do for the center. Oh, you will have glue strings. It's inevitable. You can't help it. But good news is that they come off really easily, so you don't have to worry too much. And glue strings. Alright, and I like to do this because we didn't glue the 2 flaps in. Just apply a little pop of glue there. Just to close it in. Okay. And then for the tip, what you can do is just start from the sides and just push the little fringe portions out. I'm just kind of pressing the sides out, and the center is kind of still nice and neat. Okay. Great, now we're gonna start gluing our 25 petals. I don't really have a rule for this. I just apply glue to the bottom of my petal and then I glue it right here. So I do keep it on the same level. Alright, I don't glue it too high, too low. And yeah, and then I just go one round. I think the sunflower is a bit more predictable than, let's say, a peony. So in my peony class, usually I'll say like, hey, you can kind of vary the distance between each petal. You don't have to be too neat about it. But I think because sunflowers, you know, they tend to be more symmetrical, more predictable in pattern. So you kind of want to, you know, space out your petals pretty evenly. I just tend to do them side by side. And what I mean by that is, if you look closely, I still leave a little gap at the bottom, but the little kind of bellies, I guess the belly of the petals, are still touching each other. So there is a gap on the base, but on the tip, not the tip, sorry, the middle sections, they're kind of touching just a little bit. And that's just my guide for how I spread them apart. Yeah. So I think I have, let me see how many petals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 petals in the first layer. And you notice that all the petals are kind of cupped towards the center. You know, they're all kind of in that same direction. And I kind of just like to pull them out right now, because sunflowers tend to be a little bit flatter. Alright. And that is layer 1. So we have 8 in that layer, and naturally there should be 8 in the second layer, but once again, I'm not that fussy. I just kind of go and see, oh, there's a hole there, I want to fill it, I'm gonna fill it. Alright, so the second layer, as a guide, just look at the gaps in between the first layer, or what I call windows, and just glue your new petals in there. So while I'm gluing, it might be a good time to talk about glue and why I'm using hot glue instead of normal white craft glue. The reason is simple. Hot glue dries very quickly, so I can just plop a petal, alright, like so, and move on without worrying about it. You know, imagine if I use normal white glue, I'm gonna have to hold that petal, oh no, this dropped. I'm gonna have to hold that petal in place and kind of just wait for a few seconds for it to dry and then move on. And that's just gonna like double or triple the time it takes to make a single sunflower. And guys, we don't have time for that. We got our Instagram, we got kids, we got family. Just buy a hot glue gun. Trust me, it's so worth it. Use it for your household stuff. You know, I use it for everything. It's great. Okay, great. I think that's my second layer done, and you can kind of see it's kind of getting there, but there's still little gaps here and there. So that's just what the last layer is for. And this is the layer if you want to kind of flip the petal around. So instead of gluing them this way, alright, with the cup facing inwards, I'm going to glue it this way, where it's kind of like cupping outwards. And I think that just gives your sunflower, you know, a little bit more volume and a little bit more kind of variation and a little bit more movement. So you see this one is kind of going outwards while the rest are kind of still going inwards. And you can just play around with it, you know. You can alternate some in, some out, some facing in, some facing out. I will always just kind of look at it from the top, keep looking, you know, and checking and seeing where the gaps are, where I need to fill them. And while I'm doing it, oh sorry, so all of you. First time doing tutorial, guys. If you want, you can start kind of changing up the layers before earlier. and also kind of just make them, let's say I want to flip this one over, I can just push it this way and it flips over like that. Yay! I just like that it gives the flower a little bit of more of like a, it's really blooming outwards, you know. I'm just gonna look at it from the top and see where the gap is. Just go for it. Now obviously I'm doing this a little bit quickly because, you know, I do this for a living. I make flowers every day, so naturally I'm a bit faster. But if this is your first time, take your time, you know, enjoy the process. If you make a mistake, don't worry, hot glue is magical in that sense. You can just pluck it out and re-glue it without worrying about, you know, having your paper destroy or anything like that. Of course, you want to gently peel it out and not like just rip it off, you know. But hot glue definitely is pretty forgiving. Alright, and there, ta-da! Alright, so this is the completed flower head. Now I'll just show you how to make the leaves. Okay, we'll still need our hot glue, so I'll just put that there. And you'll find in your kit you have a little squarish green crepe. Again, set it on the table, give it a nice good stretch. And the reason why I'm stretching the crepe is because you know, this crepe is 180 GSM, so it's pretty thick. You know, it's almost twice the thickness of your normal office paper. And if you look at nature, a lot of times the petals and the leaves, they are really thin, you know, they're not super thick. So stretching out, I feel, kind of gives it a more realistic look. And it doesn't feel as heavy or as bulky, you know, it feels more lightweight once you stretch it out. Okay, so I'm going to fold this in half. Alright, because this is going to make 2 leaves. I'll just put my heart-shaped leaf petal right on top. And oh, I should get my tray back. And we are gonna just follow the template. Alright, this is just a very easy way of making leaves. Again, remember to follow the grain. Make sure that the lines are going from up to down. From up to down. From top to bottom, I guess that sounds better. And there you have it. You should get 2 little hearts. So we're going to take our white craft glue. I'm just going to pre-stretch 2 of the strips that have already been prepared for you. And we're just going to apply a nice long line of glue. Doesn't have to be too thick, otherwise it'll get soggy and it'll get messy. You want to take the thin wire that's already in your kits, and I'm just going to wrap it like so. Alright, all the way down. Okay, so it should look like that. Do the same for the second one. Your fingers are going to get soggy. This is a messy craft, so you should expect it, you know, soggy, wet fingers. Alright, and then now we're going to switch to our hot glue gun. So, heart-shaped leaf, put it on some protective layer, apply a layer of glue, a straight line right across the middle, and then plop the wire that's already been wrapped by you right on top. Like so. And if you want, you can kind of just fold it in a little bit to make sure all the glue stays on. Alright, so leave that to dry. Although it doesn't really need a long time to dry. So same thing over here. Oopsie. Remember, you want to work super quickly. Like, lightning fast because you don't want your hot glue to dry too early. Alright, so just like so. And at this point you can start bending it, you can stretch it if you like. I like to make little creases on my leaves just to make them more three-dimensional. And how you do it is you just kind of pull it in different directions. Gently, of course, because this is pre-stretched crepe, so it is thinner and you don't want to kind of like just rip it apart. Alright, so like so, little leaves, ta-da! Okay. Now you should also have a thicker piece like so, and we're going to stretch that out. This is just to form the calyx of the sunflower, which is this over here. Alright, we want to make this. So you stretch that thicker strip, alright, fold it into about 1/8, okay, and just cut a nice little rounded, well, not really rounded, a nice rounded triangle on the top so that it opens up like so. Okay, ta-da. So this goes to cover the underside of your sunflower because it doesn't look that great right now. So this part, we're just going to apply glue right at the triangle, where the triangle is, and then glue one on. Alright, we start with one. You don't have to be, you know, too nervous and too anxious. We'll just do it either 1 by 1 or 2 by 2. Okay. And again, take your time. We are working with hot glue, so we want to be careful and not burn our fingers. Oops. I'm trying to hit myself in the face. You notice I'm actually gluing more on the flat surface where the petals are. Alright. And I'm just twisting it as I go along so that it kind of fits nicely. And you should be able to fit the entire strip in one round all around your bloom, or the underside of your bloom. Alright, so this is a bit messy, we'll fix that. Right now we're going to squeeze that in and kind of twist it just so it all kind of you know, it isn't bulging. It's kind of a nice tight wrap under here. Okay, and if you need to, just apply a little bit of hot glue there so that it stays in place. Right there. Okay, so now we're going to switch back to white glue. I got my table messy. There should be enough strips, alright? And the point is we want to cover the entire stalk. So I'm just going to stretch 4 for now and see whether it's enough. Again, long stretch of glue, white glue, not too soggy, not too thick. Okay, and I'll just start right at the bottom there and give it a nice wrap. Okay. You know, maybe you'll be asking, how about using flower tape? And that's kind of possible, but you gotta find one that's the same shade as your crepe paper. That might be a little bit hard. So I'm just wrapping it like that. Okay. And the thickness is totally up to you. It can be as thick as you like or as thin as you like. And when you're ready, like you think it's thick enough, just go ahead and wrap over your leaves. Like so. And I like to do one higher and one lower. Okay. And then you can just tilt it back like that. Okay. And of course I'll just finish wrapping the base over here. Okay. And of course course, if you think it's uneven, just go ahead and wrap a few more. But I guess for this tutorial, I'll just kind of end it here. Feel free to kind of bend it, make it look more realistic. Alright, knees should be bent a little outwards. And so, ta-da! This should be your final product. And these are the mini versions. Of course, I have the big version like this one, but we're going to start small and easy. And then in the future, if you want, you can slowly progress to make larger sunflowers.